welcome Firebird artists. Today we are going to take a look once again at the Zentangle art idea that we did a little while ago. And if we haven't done it, we're doing it today. So at that time we had a square tile and we put dots in the corners and created a string into the letter Z. Today, we are going to look at the different shape. We're going to work with the heart shape because you can really do Zentangle ideas in any shape, okay? So I just wanted to, we started with our traditional shape of the square, and today we're branching out onto the heart. So everybody should have a watercolor sheet of paper because we're actually now going to add watercolor on top. A handout that has two different size hearts on it, okay, a scissors, a pencil hopefully, and a Sharpie. Now if you don't have a Sharpie, there should be some that you can borrow up near my desk. So the first step is to, all importantly, put your name and teacher's name on one side of your watercolor paper. That will be the back. And then on the other side is where we're going to do our art. So once your name, teacher's name, and where you're sitting, R2, Y3, B6, like bingo, you are then ready to cut out your hearts, okay? You can create your own hearts if you want. I just know that hearts sometimes, like circles, are a hard shape to create because they're symmetrical. So that's why I gave you a handout. So cut around the dotted line, and if you're not good at cutting, do the best that you can. Once your hearts are cut out, and again, they are two different sizes, you're going to use those as a template. Artists use templates all the time, especially when they're doing a rough draft. Now, we are going right to the real paper, so we're not using a rough draft, but we're still going to use a template. So for your real paper, you can either hold your paper horizontally, or you can work horizontally, or you can work vertically, okay? I am obviously working vertically, okay? So the first step, after you cut yours out and your name is on your paper already, is to place your hearts where you want them on your paper. So I started with the big heart in the center, and I traced it with my pencil, and then with this heart, I put it behind the big heart, so I'm showing overlap. And then in this heart, I made it go off the page. You don't have to do that, but I'm just showing you in an artist's design, sometimes it's nice to show depth by making something appear on top of something else. So it looks like there's some depth into your picture. So I've traced my hearts. You can trace more if you want, but know that you are to fill in your heart with the design. So keep that in the back of your mind before you put 20 hearts on here and then say, oh, Mrs. Brushik, I can't finish. I have too many. You can finish. You just might want to go with a bigger design. So once your hearts are on here, the next thing to do is the string. And we can watch the DVD that we watched earlier that talks about the string. And all the string is, when you're talking about Zentangles, is how you are dividing up your space. So they talk about, and our space is going to be a heart-shaped and not a square, so we don't have to do the 4 dots to create your border. Your border is your heart shape. So I'm going to tilt my camera down and show you with a string, and I might just cut a bunch of strings for everybody to use a string and kind of play around with that. Challenge you to create your Zentangle shapes sections with a string. So tilting it down, if you were to use this as your string, and I'm going to work on this paper here, so this is just my cutout paper. The way that you would work with a string is you would just kind of lay it in your shape. So you can kind of see that my shape is kind of a curved shape. And then with your pencil, I'm going to use a marker so that you can see, you can kind of follow along. So this one is kind of a loop, and you have to make sure that you touch the ends. So that's kind of how my string fell. So in this sense, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different sections. Okay. So again, the string, the idea of the string is to divide your shape up into different sections. In this section, I've only created 2 sections. You want to make sure that your string touches each of the sides. So with this nice loop one, it touches. And this one is kind of just across. It looks like it's a zigzag. It's a student art. So your next step after you trace how many hearts you want on your paper is to lay down your string. Okay, so this is a student example of a string. This is my example. So in this one, I had 1, 2, 3 sections. And here I'm going to have 1, 2, 3. And down here, I'm going to have, I could use that as a separate section, 1, 2, 3, possibly 4. So have fun kind of deciding how your string should lay into your heart. Once that is done, then the fun part is of deciding what type of tangle design you want in each section. So again, if you remember back when we started, we had the little ladybugs, and then we had the boards, okay, where we added different designs behind the boards. We had kind of a checkered pattern, and we had the little curly Q swirls. Okay, you will watch the DVD again, and there'll be a couple other designs that you can also use. I will also have on your handout a sheet like this, which will have some other designs that you can also use, or you can make your own. The thing with a Zentangle design is usually there are some dark areas and then some white areas. So Zentangles usually are created by using black and white and playing with that positive and negative experience and shapes and space. So have fun creating your Zentangle heart. Once your hearts are finished, our next step will be to add a very light wash of watercolor. So stay tuned for that part. For today, you're going to cut out your hearts, place them on your paper, however many that you want. Divide them up by using a string or creating your string, and then adding your Zentangle designs. So I can't wait to see what you guys create. When you're done with this today, put it in your folder because it's still dry, and we'll work on it some more the next art class, and then eventually adding watercolor on top. So can't wait to see what you guys all create. Have fun.